Good day to you. I am sitting here. It is the morning after our group psychic reading. So we went to someone that was recommended to me by my aunt. Her name is Clairvoyant Kim. You can find her on Facebook in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I actually sat in on a private reading earlier this year to support a friend, and that was the first time I had ever gone to a medium. I'd seen psychics and sometimes like people who have passed had come through, but this was like a full medium session where she's like just talking to the spirits who have passed. So last night I went to a group reading. Everybody paid like $25 each, and I wasn't sure how many people would come, but I brought 6. My husband, brother-in-law, my sister, my mom, and our best friend, Emma. So we got to her place at 7 p.m. and we arrived, and there were so many people there already. There were 25, I think around 20 something people there in total. And I had no idea how she would do it, how she would like organize, how she would communicate with spirit with that many people there. So I think it was like the third person in, but right away she just kind of jumps into it. There's no intro, there's no like explanation, but there's probably, I think there were 2 other men, and then the men I came with, 2 men, so 4 men in total, and then the rest were 20 women of various ages, generally more in their like 50s, I would say. And just such a unique human slice, because you don't know why anyone's there, but it kind of comes through right away. So like the first person had lost a child, and there was that kind of communication where she's just like, okay, she's here with your mom, like talking about what messages she's getting. The next guy had a father and a grandfather come in, and when I say come in, she's just like, all right, they're here. Like she can hear and see them. She's Clairvoyant Kim. And she kind of gives a back and forth. Oh yeah, they've been following you. Like he's watched you fix your son's car. Okay. And they have that kind of back and forth of this like reassuring and beautiful moment where this person is finding out that their family is watching, his family is watching him. But she opens up question at the end of each kind of quick reading. And he was like, I just need to know if I did the right thing, because I was the one that pulled the plug on my dad. And the moment he says it, you can tell that it's such an emotional experience that he went through and is continuing to go through. And her dad was just like, oh yeah, don't worry. Or his dad comes through her and it's just like, don't even worry about that. Like everyone comes in when they come in, they leave when they leave, they leave when they're done learning their lessons of life on earth. And that you did the right thing, but it would have, yes, you did that, but it wasn't, that wasn't the reason he left, kind of thing. And so he was able to have that reassurance, and that just like, oh, I did the right thing and I'm okay. So I think it was like the third person in that my grandpa came in, and she was just like, I've got a Lyle, and that's my dad's dad, my papa. And my sister and I both put our hands up, even though we're not sitting together. And she was like, oh, okay, you guys are sisters, all right. And the message from him was like that he loves us so much, and he checks in on all the grandchildren all the time. And he sits with my Nana, who's still alive. She's 88. He spends days with her because she's often just sitting in her apartment on her own. So he's like visiting with her and taking that time with her as well, which was so cool. So sweet to hear too, like all these years later. He passed 11 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. And that she's like, he's showing me fishing or like by a river, and we had just gone to Fish Creek, and that was our special spot as a family. We had just been there a couple days ago, and I was telling my brother-in-law what we would do. We would have barbecues there, so it was cool how that came through as well. He was telling my sister about an upcoming job and how that will be prosperous for her in the new year, which was so nice to hear also. And then she said, I have a grandmother figure coming through, and that was my my grandmother, my mom's mom, who passed when she was only 30 years old. My mom was 5 years old. And she said that she was connecting with the fact that my mom was the youngest and she was really young, and that Lois, my grandmother, was worried about her, the most worried about her, and worried because she didn't understand death or the concept of death or where she went, and she was worried about my mom's feelings of abandonment, which was really beautiful that she got to acknowledge that and communicate that straight to my mom. And she said that, is someone wearing something of hers tonight? And my sister had put on Lois's ring, and she's never worn it before, and my mom gave it to her tonight because Emma had worn some of her grandmother's jewelry too. And so it was just so wild that she's like, yeah, I put this on tonight. This is Lois's ring. I'm wearing her bracelet today, or her watch today. And so that was just such a unique, powerful confirmation of that she's there, that she's watching, that she knows. And any kind of energetic ping you get from someone, it's such a real, actual moment of connection. And I have more to say on that also. She said that Lois had sunglasses on and she was ready for a trip, and my mom's leaving for a trip today to somewhere warm and sunny, and that she's going to be with us, and so is my papa when we travel. They're often with us when we travel. She said that anytime you have a past, someone who's passed visit you in your dream, like that's not a dream, that's a genuine visitation, that's a genuine visit. And that's nice to hear that confirmed by a medium, because I've definitely had very strong visitation dreams with my papa, and every time I wake up and I'm like, man, that felt real, that felt like real time. And the feeling when I wake up, it was like that, the feeling of when you've recently seen someone. I can't describe it any other way, but anytime I've had a dream of him, like that's how it feels afterwards. So that was so cool hearing that Lois acknowledged the ring last night, and that she just loves us and is protective and around us, even though we never met her, and my mom almost didn't know her, right? Additionally, after that, Mark's friend came through, and I didn't know that Mark recently visited his grave, like in the last 2 weeks, and had been thinking about him. And Mark had gone to Germany and was driving on the Autobahn and driving fast, and she was like, yeah, he was with you when you were driving out of control, like driving really high speeds. He was with you having fun, like anytime you're hearing him, or when you think of him and of songs that come through, like that's him, he's with you. So what else? He said that he was like there, he felt your prayer at the graveyard. So it was cool because I didn't know that Mark had, thought of Tyler, his friend. I didn't know that he had thought of his friend kind of recently. I didn't know that he went to the cemetery, gave a prayer. I didn't know that he had been thinking about him with songs lately. Like there was the song that he was playing in the car in the Autobahn, and he actually thought of him. And so when Kim says that, she's confirming that when you're having those thoughts with those people, when you're having that moment of remembrance or this memory or this moment of connection, like she's just saying like how real that is, how real it is when you have that moment. And to me, the whole experience was so affirming of energy and how real energy is. And we have been raised in a way that makes us think that anything outside of our physical senses can't be real, because we can't physically see, taste, smell, hear, touch it. And the reality is like, don't we experience less than a percentage of the electromagnetic light spectrum? It's a joke. It's actually insane how little we can see, how little we can perceive with our limited physical senses. I've read books detailing how our physical senses are so much more of limiters than opening perceivers. You know what I mean? Like they limit our experience more than they enhance it or give us information for this reality. There's so much more going on in our reality than what we perceive with our 5 physical senses. And when she's talking about that moment of connection, she's saying that when you put that ring on, there's that energetic acknowledgement, and there's that moment, there's like a contact, there's the energetic contact that happens when you bring someone into your thoughts. That was amazing to me. Amazing to feel validated in the realness of that. When she is pulling it out, she does not know who we are. She doesn't know who Lyle is. Like, she's pulling these very unique, detailed moments in, because spirits, our ancestors, people who have passed, are telling it to her because they know that she has a direct line to them, and she's telling us what she's hearing, telling us what she's experiencing, and it's validating the moments where Mark thought of his friend in the car, where he went to his grave and sent him a prayer, and his friend's like, I got that message. To be validated so soon after that experience. And same with my sister putting the ring on, being like, she knows you put something on tonight. It was wild. It was so cool. And my father-in-law came through, and also knew that my brother-in-law was wearing his jacket, and just said, you're wearing something of his, and knows that you work on heavy machinery, and he's like, works on a boat. And it was so cool. A lot of validating moments. But I think in general, just having this group communal experience, because we have those quick little readings, but quick confirmations that that's real. They hear you, they feel you, they're around you at these times, exactly when you're feeling them, perceiving them, or bringing them into your thoughts. Like, it's so profound. And then on top of that, the group essence of it was wild, because like I said, there's the levels of vulnerability that people just like drop right into, because their ancestors are coming through, or their loved ones who have passed are coming through to tell them something. And a lot of these people have like a unique question pertaining to maybe a next step, or like, was this true? Like, there was one woman in the room who wanted to know if her great aunt was murdered. She was like, yep. And my jaw just dropped. I was like, what? It was wild. What a slice of humanity to jump in on and get to experience and witness other people in it as well. It was so cool, and I 100% want to book a 1-hour private reading with her to go into greater depth and allow for other people to come through. Like, I think that was such a flash in the pan kind of moment, where you get generally like a 5-minute read, and whoever's like the dominating one comes through. So my papa comes through, Lois comes through. This was her chance to come through, and neither of us expected Mark's friend to come through, but that was special and totally relevant to the time. And so I feel like we all got a special little message from someone on the other side that we love. But I definitely want to book a full hour with her and have the opportunity to have a bit more dialogue with more of my ancestors and just tap in a bit more. I also feel like I'm on the path of tapping in on my own, and there's a big part of me that is like, to keep developing that. Don't rely on her necessarily, but the information that she passes on, or like affirms for me, if I had that thought, and then she's saying, well, this is the reality. This dreams are visitations. I've always thought that was a real visitation. So yeah, it was amazing. Highly recommend. The group experience was really unique, just for the humanity group experience of it, just to be in a room with lots of people, be in a room with lots of spirits, and hear Kim sort through it and be like, okay, we've got this person. Does this sound like anyone? Okay, I'm seeing this. She's seeing and hearing things and passing it on. It was amazing. So I feel grateful for the experience. I want to do a private one. Maybe I'll do a group one again too, just because that was just such a trip to see. But yeah, grateful for the experience, grateful for the people who came through with messages for us, and all such loving, affirming messages that I feel grateful for, and I take it into my heart as I go on. So yeah, thank you.